a poem and an unpacking of the poem. Stay here no matter what. While the desire to move away from this moment when it gets uncomfortable is greater than the willingness to stay, no matter what discomfort arises, no matter what existential abyss may open up, no matter what tyranny of past thoughts and emotions may come. If the desire to move away from the moment is stronger, there is no abiding transformation. There is a dance of moving towards and moving away, like the moth around the flame. But when the willingness to stay here, no matter what arises, is greater than the desire to move away, and that is practiced step upon step, moment upon moment, as the wave of energy comes and goes, an abiding transformation reveals itself. At first it may be tender and sensitive, but slowly it becomes established as a new reality. If there is a choice, it is this choice: to move away or to stay, no matter what comes. There's a lot in that poem. There's a lot in what it points to. But put simply, what it points to is that we've been trained in many ways very badly, and trained in many ways to move away from discomfort. You've heard me talk about this millions of times, and I do apologize, but it seems that I'm kind of drawn to talk about the same things over and over again. So when discomfort rises up, it's our habitual tendency. There's no self-punishment needed. Let's throw that out of the window. For a start, there's no getting it right and there's no getting it wrong. That doesn't help on the path of transformation, except as a pointer to come back. But our habitual tendency to move away from ourselves when discomfort arises, when past thoughts, emotions, heat comes along, and that can come along in degrees of intensity, of course. There are just the sort of, almost the gentle movement of waves, as we move through life, as we move through our day, but nothing particularly tyrannous, or too intense. And so they're just the sort of normal flotsam and jetsam of life, and maybe we don't take too much notice of those. But in moments of extreme pressure, either in relationship, so much of this happens in relationship, because everything is relationship to such an extent in this life. So the triggers that we experience, the attacks, if you like, I don't mean physical attacks, I mean emotional feelings of attack, when we meet our vulnerability, when we meet our anger, when we meet our tenderness, on ever increasing levels of intensity, when there's a very strong pull to move away from those, understandably so to a certain extent, but the constant moving away from those just creates a whole series of patterns, and therein lies our suffering, because we constantly have these things that are coming up in us and we're constantly moving away from them, and we move away simply by, distraction or addiction or some sort of compulsion. So we reach for something, that softens the feeling or deflects the feeling or pacifies the feeling. We're great self-pacifiers in many ways. It's part of our stuff that we've inherited from being a baby. Not everybody, but many. So we play this pacification with ourselves, or we move into addiction, or we try and forget the discomfort that we're feeling. But there's no change, no real lasting, abiding transformation, because the meeting of ourselves is the fire. That's the fire, part of the fire, or one of the ways that the fire of transformation reveals itself, is our capacity to stay here no matter what arises. This is Buddha sitting under the tree when the maras of illusion and the maras of deception arise. Sitting here no matter what. But it might not be easy. We don't know how easy or how difficult it particularly was for Buddha, for instance. But for many on the awakening path, and for many, let's just call it on the transformational path, and I know this very much for myself, and Amoda, this happened to her in her profound awakening that she had back in 2002. It's the capacity to stay here no matter what arises. And in that capacity to stay here no matter what arises, something significant can happen. It can be a meeting with an existential, a meeting with a primal fear, a meeting with a core knot of us, something deep, a kind of root, like a tree has the taproot, and if you take that taproot out somehow, then the tree's going to have big problems, surviving. Well, this is the same but different. It's not really to do with survival, except it is to do with a bit of a rebirth. So there's great courage, tenderness, patience, willingness, to stay here no matter what. And then a heat can come, or a great fear can come, or a great change can come, or a great, something may happen. But it's sort of, there is our power. There is some power that we have in that. And this is a very active kind of power. And it's like it's okay waiting and waiting and waiting, but sometimes and often we're called very, very strongly to just stay here. This is presence, but it's not the presence of just meditation. It's actually the presence of our innate authority that I've talked about millions of times before. And it's very simple. When discomfort really arises, and it's going to arise, because there's discomfort in everything that we experience, everything that the self experiences in the world, at some point on the movement of our lives is going to have discomfort in it, and it's going to trigger stuff coming up from the past. And there it is. What are we going to do with it? How are we going to meet it? Not what are we going to do with it? How are we going to meet it? And I would say, stay here, no matter what arises. There's such great power in it. No mental agitation, no stories, no buying into this, no buying into that. Nothing is likely to happen. Yeah, if it does, this is this is either a good thing, or I'm very sorry. on our own heads be it, in a way, because to a certain extent there does need to be a meeting sometimes at that point of breakdown and breakthrough. You know, this is to go beyond mind, to go beyond thinking self. This is not for the faint-hearted. It's for the tender-hearted, but actually the courageous, to stay here no matter what, if there is a choice. Now, I don't know whether any of us have any choice, but we do have a choice no, we don't have a choice in the great scheme of things. But on this little micro level of you and I, us little micro beings with our little micro decisions, these are micro decisions, but every micro decision that we make, is mirrored out and out and out into the greater field of us, and into the greater field of our beingness, and into the greater field of the collective. Everything that we do matters, and nothing that we do matters. But this micro meeting, the way we are with whatever is happening, is the way we are with everything. So this is the call to a greater awareness. Awareness. To be aware. To kind of wake up in the middle of discomfort. Not just going with it, but actually waking up in the middle of the discomfort. Gives a choice. You try it first with yourself, to see when difficult feelings come up, or because the movement of energies and the movement of old emotions is such that they're going to come up triggered by just a thought, or triggered by something unconscious, or triggered in some kind of way, not necessarily just by another person, but for on our own to feel where the discomfort. If your longing for freedom is true, then you have to find a way to stay here no matter what. And that's part of the kind of equation, because unless it just happens by accident or by grace, which is possible, I guess, then we're called to show up and be willing to burn a little bit. That burning is a good thing, because what we're burning away is what is no longer needed. The burning in the fire of that intensity may sound dramatic, but all these metaphor words are, speak to the mind that's carving everything up. So don't take any notice of that. Don't make any assessment. Don't assess things. Just show up. That's a choice. A choice. Here I am in this moment. How am I going to show up to these experiences of today? We've got today. It's another day. There's lots of movement in my life, in my physical body, in my mental, emotional body. It's a full moon. There's lots to pay attention to in our life as we're doing this work with the non-profit, with all of the things that take planning, and some of them are unpredictable, and things come in from the outside and they're unexpected, and we're all living our lives under the canopy of the culture that we're in. Well, we're in America, and America is, I don't know, is going through extreme intensity on so many different levels, but still the call is to either give allegiance, or to give my attention, or to become pulled, so much by any of those things from the inner, to the outer. It's the same response. It's the same thing. And so there it is, and I've gotten wise over the years to show up. I wake up, I'm showing up. I wake up, I show up. I go to the bathroom, I show up. I'm sort of, come to the computer, turn it on. You never know what's going to happen, what email is going to come in, what horror has befallen everything, you know. Whew. Stay here, no matter what. It's a great challenge. To be the lighthouse in the midst of the storm is a great challenge, yeah? And there's, like I said at the front of this video, there's no pass or fail here. There's only the movement of it. To learn by when we move away, when the lighthouse escapes the storm, or tries to escape the storm. It can't escape the storm, right? It's a lighthouse. So to be the lighthouse means you have to kind of stay, and stay, and stay. And when you move away, forgive yourself. When you move away, let it go, come back. It's the only way to carve new behaviors, to carve new patterns, to let go of the old patterns, so that what we're doing is meeting life with a certain freshness. That's what it's called for. To meet life with a certain freshness, no matter what. No matter what. And it is not an easy task, but that's what needs to happen for an abiding transformation to take place and show itself up in our lives for the betterment of ourselves and for all the beings that we touch in the midst and the movement of our lives. Bless you.